Hello and welcome back to PsyCoolG Connect's present webinar series number 90. So, PsyCoolG Connect is an initiative by PsyCoolG Wellness Private Limited, and we are certified and registered organization. We are ISO certified and Startup India and MSME recognized organization working hard to spread mental health awareness in the society. And this is the platform we are using to spread mental health awareness. And this is our webinar number 90. So, from past 90 webinars, we are trying to spread mental health awareness by organizing different events, different we are organizing different events and taking different topics, discussing different topics, and inviting a lot of experts with us. So today we are again back with one of our interesting topic and one of our guest speaker for the day. And I invite on the screen Ma'am Shailja Joshi as our resource person for the day.
I really appreciate
Hello,
such
ma'am.
a webinar session.
I
Hello,
think
how are
I'm
you?
audible to you.
Yes, I'm audible. Am I
Thank
audible
you.
to you?
Yes, ma'am, you are definitely audible. Welcome to this webinar series by PsyCoolG Connect.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much to you, your team, PsyCoolG, for conducting such webinars so that we can impart learning to students, to people who are practicing in this field. And I'm looking forward for an interactive session. So we can start with today's session. And if you have anything to add on to it, you can do that.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely, we are starting the session. And yes, to the audience first, the audience can communicate and interact with us by live comments, and the comments will be shown on the screen, like this one. Kitna time lagega? Okay, so they are asking. I think we are a bit late. I think 2 or 3 minutes. I'm really sorry, Yogesh, for that. And yeah, so the comments from the audience will be displayed on the screen live here, so you can communicate with us directly. Thank you. So good afternoon, and today's topic is very much interesting, and I think you should not miss it, and you should watch this webinar till the end to understand the crux of the topic, the basics of personality development. And our guest speaker is Ma'am Shailja Joshi. She is a counseling psychologist and a mental health professional with expertise in providing effective psychological support. And her areas of expertise includes a wide list, like a few of them I can like count: individual and group counseling, psychotherapies, social and emotional development, behavior management, vocational planning and guidance, life skill and personality development sessions, crisis management, and many more like that. So, ma'am is also a research scholar from Sri Guru Ram Rai University, Dehradun, in clinical psychology. And I heartily invite you, ma'am, on behalf of Psychology. Welcome to this webinar. And without wasting any time, we can start with the webinar now.
All right, sure, fine. As we all are aware that today's topic is about basics of personal development. So I would request all the participants if they can write something. It can be one word, it can be a small sentence where they can mention that what they actually understand by personal development. It can be just a meaning of personal development, or from personal development they have these many ideas which they would like to convey to us. So anything to start off with. Any comments, anything?
So, the topic for the day is basics of personal development, and audience can communicate through the chat box, and the comment will be shown on the screen. Ma'am is requesting our audience to comment down their opinions about the topic. I think so. Is that right, ma'am?
Yes, yes, that's right. That's right. Okay, so what we can do is let's start discussing the word itself. When we talk about personal, let's just take it a basic term, personal. Personal is something which belongs to me, which is very close to me, or only I can access, or I can give others permission to access it if they want to talk about anything which is my personal thing, my related to my personal life, my personal space. So we use such words like personal, item, personal belongings. It's my personal space, my house, my personal space, my study room, my personal space, my document, my safe. All these things are personal items, personal things, personal belongings. When we talk about development, development is used in various areas. So if you go to a hospital, maybe you have a little one in your house, there is a toddler, and the toddler is not keeping up with the kind of energy expected from that toddler. So the next question that will come in your mind is his development is going fine? Do I need to consult a doctor? Do I need to see someone who can actually talk about my child or my relative's child's development? And you get little bit conscious. Okay, let me just figure out what is happening with the child, why the child is quiet, why the child is not behaving properly. So the questions come in our mind, and we start some, it can be a plan, or maybe we start thinking about this, that how we can help the child. We start looking for options. We can maybe put him in a school where you have activities, co-curricular activities, so the child can learn things, and maybe there will be some change in child's routine. So there are so many questions that come in our mind. So as we all know that this is a time of corona where we are all homebound, and most of us are not able to do things that we would like to do. So we are more into our personal spaces now. So the more you want to understand about personal development, you need to keep on writing something. Keep on, say, you can chat with me, you can mention your queries, you can ask question, ma'am. You can ask, ma'am, what is personal development? Can you give me a detailed brief on that? Anything. Till the time you will not ask questions, your doubt will not be clear. Now, when we talk about personal development, there are many words which are used around us. If you go to a school, people might say that socio skills, social emotional skills. If you go to special schools, they say that, okay, we are teaching children good and bad activities that they do in their house, involving their own body, that involving their own environment. It can be anything. If you go to a college, you might have sessions where you talk about relationships, couple relationships, planning a wedding, or maybe what will happen after marriage. When you go to a school nowadays, and not even nowadays, whenever like you go to government schools, they have plans where they talk about menstruation, they talk about physical development, they talk about puberty. So there are various terms that we use for personal development, but sometimes personal development and sexual development is a overlapping term. Some people are comfortable with personal development terms, some people are comfortable with sexual development. But what we need to understand is, when we talk about personal development, we're talking about our body, we are talking about people around us, how we need to behave with them, how we understand our development, and what we expect when we are in a relationship with somebody, when we are planning about getting into a relationship, and how do I see myself? If I'm dressing as a woman, do I like that? Or do I have some questions in mind? And do I have feelings of maybe some other, there are some other emotions? I don't like the kind of life I live. So it's a broad area to explore. But today, when we talk about basics, we'll start from the birth and how we grow and how things come in our life and what is the importance of discussing such topic. So let's just take an example. There is a 2-year-old child in your house. So what do you think we need to cover with that child under personal development? As maybe a family member, maybe someone who would like to protect that child, anything that is coming in. You can write, you can chat with us. Please type something. What would you like to teach to that child? A 2-year-old child, and you know he or she is very young, but you're thinking in terms of personal development. So, what are your plans? You can share with us. Let's take a moment. I'll wait. You can write down something.
Can you please repeat the question, ma'am?
Sure, sure.
More
You have
clearer to the.
okay. You have a 2-year-old child in your house, and all of a sudden you thought of teaching something to that child which is related to that child's own personal space, the
Okay.
child's body, the child's way of dealing with other people in terms of child safety, child's personal development,
Mm.
anything that you want to tell that child. So, what will you tell? Broader areas, if you can share. Let me give you an example. Okay, how to use toilet
Yeah.
is one example. So, such examples participants can type. They can chat with us. They can give some examples to us. All right. So, what we can do is this is one example. Now, let's
Okay.
think a 2-year-old child and we talk about development, journal development. So, if you're teaching a 1-year-old child that go beta, use toilet, you're not supposed to wet your pants and you're not supposed to eat in a messy way, the child would not understand because that's not the right stage to teach the child. Okay, we got a response from Deepak. Okay, we have another response from Dinesh, Sharda, eating habits, very good. And thank you so much. You're taking participation. We are liking it's getting interactive now. How to inform when toilet is coming, very good. Okay. Yes. So when you talk about personal development, it's a spiral curriculum. And what do we understand by spiral? The areas will remain same. However, the content that we cover will be age specific. So when you talk about a 2-year-old child, now we need to work to teach the child how to indicate that you need to go and use toilet. So indicate. So the caregiver, it can be mother, it can be anyone. Yes, wearing clothes. Sharda, very nice. So the child will learn to indicate, then only child will reach to a stage where child can go independently to the washroom and can use it. So this is one area. The other one is wearing clothes. Someone wrote wearing clothes. Yes, you can actually talk to child about why did you take out your socks? Why did you take out your lower? Why did you take out your shirt? These are all involved in personal development. So now when we're talking about toddlers, we have a particular curriculum or the lines on which we work as counseling psychologists. And for that, we teach parents as well. We tell them the importance. Till the time you will not teach children what are their private and public areas, they will not be able to differentiate the activities we do in public spaces and private spaces. Now let's just go a little higher. We have a school going child. Now the child can understand basic communication, basic instructions. Child knows that it's a laptop, it's a computer, it's a fruit, it's a book. So now what kind of topic we can cover with that child, which comes under personal development? Any ideas? Now child is attending school, is no longer limited to a space home setting. which is much safer. Now the child is traveling. Now, what do you want to teach that child? Anyone? All right. So what we can do is let's understand few areas, and then we will talk about age specific milestones. When we cover details or curriculum with children, adolescent, adults, or maybe with parents about personal development, or some can refer it to as sexual development, the motive is to make the person confident and the person make that person educated or educate that person about the concepts which come under personal development. It doesn't matter whether you use sexual development, you use personal development. The motive is that I need to know what is going on in my body. I need to know my personal and private space. I need to know how I need to go out and interact with the people in the society. What are the activities that I can do in front of other people, what I cannot do? What is considered a acceptable behavior? What is not considered a acceptable behavior? So there are areas which we cover under personal development, like private and public. I've already discussed. Anyone can tell me what is private and public? Any idea? Anyone can share something? The question is, what do we understand from private and public? Okay, okay, we have questions how to control child abuse, then the sanskaras that we impart to children from 2 to 10 years of age. All right, fine. The, we got few inputs like sanskaras. As Indian, we give sanskar to them. Okay, all right, fine. That's our culture. Okay, name, address, yes, for the safety purpose. All right, sure. And then we also said that how to control child abuse. We'll talk about it. When we talk about child abuse, we will discuss this during the session. But at present, what we need to understand is private and public is not just our belonging or our space. For a child, private is his or her home. The child can be free here. The child can be talk to parents about whatever they want, or maybe child can behave the way the child likes to do. But when he's in school, there is a discipline, there is a structure in school. Now, when we talk about home, again, home has a private space and public space. Like hallway, anyone can use. But whenever there is someone in the toilet, you need to first knock. You cannot just barge in. Small kids, you cannot teach them to put a latch or lock the toilet and then they can do whatever they feel like because the safety is another concern. However, you can teach them that you cannot enter someone's room without knocking. Your bedroom is another private space. Yes, but when you go to a gallery, maybe you cannot just go there and start taking bath. Yes, good touch, bad touch, very good. You cannot change your clothes when you are outside in the gallery, maybe, but you can change clothes when you are in toilet. You can sleep in your room. You can sleep anywhere you like. But again, there are specific spaces where we teach children what space belongs to do, what space belongs for what kind of work, what kind of things you can do in toilet, what kind of things you do in kitchen, what kind of things you can do in your own bedroom, what are the things which can we can do together as family in a hallway or maybe in the guest room or maybe in the dining area. You can enjoy meal together. So these are the activities we teach them in space like home. But when you go to school, you need to understand that you cannot pull someone's hair. You cannot just start changing your clothes there because you don't like. You cannot touch other person, the other student. And if you want to touch, what are the areas where you can touch? Someone talked about good and bad touch. So good and bad touch, there are red areas, there are green areas. So we teach children that you're not supposed to touch red areas, and you cannot let other people touch those areas. So these are few topics that we cover with children under private and public. Then we also talk about relationship. What kind of relationship you share with your parents? Who are your parents? How much trust you can actually do on them? Who's a teacher? Where is the boundary? How much you need to share with your teacher? How much you need to share with your parents, your friends? Why they live in a separate home? They have their own parents, they have their own family. So we teach about relation as well. Then you have communication, non-verbal communication, body gestures, your verbal communication, using curse words or using bad words with someone, and saying no to someone, being assertive. It all comes under personal development. If someone is asking you to come along with me, okay, your mama is not coming today to pick you from school. Will you let the child go? Or you need to teach the child about his or her safety. One reason or one way to avoid any kind of abuse with children is to teach them about their safety, to teach them how to shout when somebody is trying to force themselves on them, when someone is trying to touch the red areas. You need to shout, you need to call for help, you need to inform someone, you need to look for places where you feel safe. You cannot just go wherever you feel like. If you are in school, you'll get free at 2. Your mama will come, your papa will come, your other family member will come to pick you. You cannot just go with anyone. So, exploitation. Sometimes children or even young adults, they hold things. They don't share with anyone that they're being abused. There's someone who's bullying them, or there is disturbing, maybe something disturbing that's happening in school, college. So, trying to help them do proper communication, building a relationship with children, building the relationship with someone in the family whom they can trust and can share with their things with them is very important. Then you have understanding the body. So anyone can tell me, like, uh, when you were young, or maybe when you reached a stage when puberty came, how many of you were given an education that what is puberty and what will happen to you? Anyone who got education on puberty, that what is the term puberty and what will happen to you once you will reach that stage? You can write down in chat, you can share with us that, okay, ma'am, I got the education on this thing when I was in school, or when I was about to complete school and I was about to join college. So, how many of you got education? Okay, I can even ask Dinesh, type of dressing at home. Okay, so I can ask our host, Dinesh. Maybe he can also give some inputs that whether he got the education when he was young, and what is the term puberty and what will happen to you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, all right. Because I
Ma'am,
know that I was given
got it.
education.
Actually, I changed a lot of schools as
Okay,
my parents were in defense forces. So I
okay,
used to change my school after every 2 years or 6 months,
okay,
maybe 1 year. My
okay,
education institution were like continuously changing, and not only
okay,
institutions, the place, the state, the city, everything were changing. So like from I think from LKG I started from Vishakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, and then I changed almost 6 to 7 schools while reaching 12th. So more than seven, I think so. After
okay,
every 2 or yes, we have to change the school.
okay. So,
Schooling is a different thing for me. Like schooling was totally different.
so when you talk about this education about personal development, where you cover basic important areas like puberty, were these topics were covered with you by your parents or by your teachers?
Ma'am, sometimes by parents and sometimes by our school, because I used to study in a school which was like a Navy Children's School. It was
Okay.
previously named as Navy Public School. So that was a naval school, and a lot of like teachings, a lot of social teachings were also given in our school itself. There were like houses were divided out of students like red, green, and blue, yellow. So according to that, they used to give a certain kind of special lecture. Sometimes they used to tell about good touch, bad touch. At that time, when 2001, I think so, 2002 or 2001 maybe. So at that
Mhm.
time, we used to get information about good touch and bad touch, and we should not do this kind of thing and that kind of thing. Parents also supported us, as parents were in defense and they were totally educated. But I can see that a lot of institutions do not provide that much information. As I was in a special institution, like it was a naval institution run by a naval organization. So that was specially for the defense children. So that was a totally different experience. But I can see here, after coming to Haryana, and I settled in Haryana afterwards. So I got to know that there is a very scope of a lot of scope of improvement is there in the schools and in the education also. They need to improve a lot of things. They don't talk about these kind of topics. They do not share these kind of topics, and they think a taboo out of this
Right.
particularly.
So the next discussion that we're going to do is about barriers. Like why we limit ourselves and not discuss such topics with our kids, or maybe in schools, in institutions. What could be the barriers? If someone can type. Yes, Dinesh, we are getting response from Dinesh saying that during my bio class at 8 to 11, uh, how to dress properly, okay, hair growth and voice change, these points were discussed by some relatives. And
Yeah, see the changes. See the changes, ma'am. Here, in my time when I was in, I think so, third class, we were trained to comb ourselves, and we were trained to use uh, uh, handkerchief. We should have a handkerchief. Daily checkings were done in school. If a handkerchief is not there, we were used to punish. So see the kind of differentiation in education. While our participant Dinesh Singh learned all these things in 11th class, and I learned all these things in third class, and some other institution maybe they provide this kind of education more before third class also, like in first class, maybe in LKG UKG also. So totally depends on the nurture where the student is studying and where the student is there. Totally it depends on the nurture.
okay. So I can share one of my experiences about personal
Yes, ma'am.
development. I was taking a session. So I asked students if they can tell me that how they came in this world,
Okay.
and they were class 9 students. So
Okay.
60% of them said that once God came in the night at the time of night and blessed my mother, and he placed me next to my mother, and I was a small baby, and then my mother took care of me, so I belong to God, and this is how I came this in this world. So for
Okay.
someone who's coming from class 8, the answer may be right for some people, but
Mhm.
whosoever is imparting such sort of education, the answer is not correct. We can
Mhm.
still talk about the possibilities based on the child's development or as their age. There are two sort of ages that we deal in. We talk about chronical age and we talk about mental age. So there are few activities that we perform with children to understand how much information we need to give them. But when we talk about importance and roadblock, what happens is that when we talk to parents that why you're not talking to your kids about this. So they say that we feel that they're still young, they're too small.
They're still
That's
small. For
yes,
parents, actually, the children are always small. They do
yes,
not. I have seen
yes.
parents who do not agree when a psychology or a psychology background student or maybe a professional psychologist do explain them that their child is having ADHD or any Down syndrome or any kind of dyslexia. So the parents are not like they do not agree on that, and they think that the child is in the development stage and the child will cop up as the child will grow, but they do not know that how the situation may go bad. And because there is no such treatment for ADHD kind of like disorders, or we need to we need to live with that particular disorder. We need to learn to live with that particular disorder, and at the earliest stage when we get to know about these kind of disorders, that is beneficial. But when the parents do not pay attention to such kind of things, that become problematic in the later stage.
Another input that I got was that my child is just 16 years of age and he or she may get married at the age of 30 or 29. So from
Hmm.
16 till 29, my child will never be in a relationship with anyone. So when
Hmm.
my child will get married, then I'll talk about these issues or maybe these topics that you're discussing with us. So it's not possible that the child may stay asexual till that time, and we need to accept the fact when we discuss with families and parents or maybe adolescents, they take time and they take time to understand what could be the impact if we do not have proper personal development or sexual education, resources or knowledge with us. So the
Hmm.
child will never remain child, the child will grow, will experience body changes, will experience emotions and feelings. Maybe it can be for someone, maybe around his own body and space. So we need to start discussing such topics with them. Also, they feel that it is feasible. It is very easy to teach child if he's in a relationship to come out of that relationship, be mature. It's too early. And let's just talk about studies. Let's just focus on co-curricular activities or study. These are not important areas. No. Yes. So we got another response from Dinesh that yes, roadblocks. These are the most important things that we need to not to, we need to remove when we start imparting personal development. But the most important thing that we need to do is we need to first educate ourselves.
Hmm.
That if there will be no education, there will be issues like pregnancy, parenthood.
Hmm.
Children will make sexual decisions which are not in their favor. They will not
Hmm.
understand birth control. Teenagers will not understand it. They'll get into relationship. They will not able to understand their own emotions, how to handle breakup, how to not to approach someone if someone is not interested, and if something doesn't happen according to their wish, maybe they'll end up into abusing someone, bullying someone. So these are all interrelated, connected, and that's why we say it's a spiral curriculum. You cannot tell a 2 year old person that, okay, this is how you name your red areas. No, the child is too young. But we can tell that child that, okay, these are your private space. Okay, this is your washroom. We can come with mama. Don't go here. Stay with mama. Don't go out alone. These are small, small steps that we can take. Anyone has any sort of question or maybe any comment that I've missed? We can actually look 1 minute.
No,
We
I
can.
think, ma'am, we have covered.
Okay.
This is the last comment by Dinesh Singh.
Okay. All right. So if you know your body, if you know that at the age of 12 or maybe at the age of 9, this will happen to me, then what will happen? If you already know that this is going to happen with you at the age of 9 or maybe at the age of 10, let's take example of girls. If they are educated that, okay, menstruation is something which will happen to you at this certain age, now they're well prepared. They know the term, they know how they need to actually work on this area, how they need to prepare themselves. such kind of development that will happen to their body. And if they are not educated properly, they might ask from someone else who doesn't have the knowledge on that, or maybe mislead the child. So you have a feeling good factor about yourself that you know, okay, I'm already ready for such kind of change. Why young children, young adults, adolescents, why they have so much about this self-image? How am I looking? Am I groomed properly? Am I dressed properly? I'm going out with my friends, so I want them to listen to me. I need to make an impact on them. Why such thoughts come in our mind when we are at that age, when we are in teenage phase? Why such thing happen? Anyone can comment on that? Maybe anything that you can add? Okay. It's the
No
kind
comment.
of emotion that we experience when there are change in hormones. So
Hmm.
our body is structured in a way, whereas in your body development, physical signs and symptoms plus emotional changes because of hormones, yes, with the response from someone, which is right. So hormones, body, our environment, how we perceive ourselves, our body, our environment, our friends, the way peers take us, our peer group takes us, same thing impact our overall. We get little conscious, okay, my hair are not done, my hair is not done, are not done properly. I need to wear my jacket when I go out because this will make me feel look good in front of my friends, physical and other too. Okay. One term which is missing is getting attracted to someone or the need to have attention and importance in someone's life. So when you talk about spiral curriculum, you can see that even young children, they are constant in need of attention. They keep on bothering their parents that mama look. When they do some activity, they call their mother or father and they ask them to show some signal, either appreciate, give a smile, or maybe pat at their back so that they feel appreciated. Now you grow older, you join a school, we always seek attention or appreciation from our teachers, our friends, people. We attend tuition classes or maybe go to a mall for shopping. Wherever we go, we look for attention. We look for acceptance. We look for importance. We look for kind of a behavior which makes us feel good about ourselves. Once you join college, we seek more freedom in decision making. Like I would like to go out to Goa with my friends for 2 days or 3 days. So we start discussing such topics with our parents. So these are small, small triggers for family, teachers, and friends. It is not always necessary that you need to seek professional help for such matters. You can start discussing these things with your family member, children, or teenagers around you. And if you feel that, okay, I don't know how to talk to them about that, you came in the world by some other process. It wasn't God who came in the night and gave it to your mom. So seek professional help. Ask them. You can visit a psychologist, you can visit a counselor, you can ask them, okay, before I give any wrong information to them and they make their own assumptions, let just teach me, ma'am, or maybe we can talk about, ma'am, what am I supposed to tell them and what I need to hold. I can't give them all the information. So there was a very interesting case which came to us when we were working with teenagers. Uh, a teenager who was trying to follow his friend. So he was too much influenced by his peer group and he wasn't sure that whether he was doing something right. Peer pressure in college, right? True. It happens with everyone. We all may have some sort of experiences to share that, okay, this happened to me when I was in college and I wanted to do this, but I couldn't do because my friend was doing something else. So I wanted to stick with whatever he was doing so that we can spend some time together because I didn't want to go to some other city and start over fresh. I didn't want to make new friends. I was comfortable with whatever structure I had in this city. So these are all questions, queries, thoughts, emotions that we come across during a certain phase in our lives. Now, when I started talking to the child, he said that, ma'am, I don't do much at home. I have no one to talk to. I don't have a sibling. My parents are working. They come around 9:30 in the night, and then we have supper together, and then we go to sleep. And they've never discussed anything with me about what is going on with me. I am not comfortable with all the hair that are they are coming on my face, or why my voice is getting heavier with time. And I don't know how to strike a conversation with them. So what to do? So when we talk to kids, adults, or anyone, they once they feel comfortable, they'll start discussing things with you. But how to make them feel comfortable? That is avoiding any kind of taboo, avoiding any kind of roadblock which is related to personal development. If a child is asking that why my voice is getting heavier, we need to first think before giving answer that you must have eaten something cold. It's fine. It's season change. Let's just wait for 2 days. It will be fine. Okay, fine. I have work to do. I need to go. So hold back. Don't give prompt answers. Don't just say whatever is coming in your mind. Think once. Okay, it's a 16-year-old boy and he's asking about change in voice. Okay, what kind of change in voice you're talking about? Let's we have a boy with name R. So we'll first ask what kind of change in voice you're experiencing. Okay, your voice is getting heavier. All right. Any other change, any kind of body odor which is coming now, and you're thinking why it is happening. Earlier I never used to be that smelly. Now why I'm getting too much of sweating, and now I'm smelling like it's very odd smell that is coming. So the child will start discussing, will start giving you more cues, more uh, tips, that okay, now not just voice getting heavier, I'm getting too much of sweat, body odor is coming, okay, I can see some facial hair here, and then my body structure is getting changed. So now what to do? So now it's time to think. If you don't have the answer right now, take your time. Tell the child that I'll get back to you by evening or maybe tomorrow. It's the safest option which we can do. We can do search about this thing. We can get professional help. We can talk to someone who's already in the phase where they've dealt with teenage children, son or daughter, and now they can maybe give you advice. And if you feel that something is missing, so the best thing is always seek for professional help. As counselors and psychologists, okay, how to approach this thing. I myself is not comfortable. Maybe I know the answer, but I don't know how to talk to the child about it. What if we'll have a chain of questions and I will feel little shy? So when we work with a personal development spiral curriculum, we feel that a child or maybe a toddler can relate more with the same gender. So I always advise them that if a boy is going to the toilet, let the father help the boy. So that if a boy has some kind of questions, father will be more comfortable to answer. And if a girl is using toilet or getting dressed and she has some kind of questions, maybe mother can get into such activities. So once they have the basic understanding, okay, what is happening, then both of them can work as a team. So anyone have like any ideas, or maybe you think that maybe ma'am this is not the right approach to work on this topic. Do you have any inputs or anything to give? That ma'am this is not right, or maybe we can use this technique when we work with kids on personal development. Yes. So okay, all right. So we got few response from Suman, from Dinesh, from Deepak, and it's good. When we are participating, we are expressing our views. It will be easier for me to to conduct the session in a productive manner where you learn something out of it, not get confused with the kind of content I've planned for you all. Okay. Now, when we talk about personal development or sexual development, it is not advisable to teach a small kid the names of your private parts. But when the child is older, so you cannot tell the child that, okay, this is something else, this is not the real. Yes, Suman's feedback is fine that yes, sometimes mother are educated enough and can manage both sexes, which is right. Mother can take care of both the sexes, which is good. But one thing that we need to understand is then we need to find alternative ways of teaching. Because a girl will not have an adult body of a male. The girl will have an adult body of a female. So if a boy is looking up to a mother, how will he himself will understand that how am I need to dress up when I'll be 20 years of age? So the child will learn gradually. So accordingly, based on gender, we need to teach child what will happen to your body, how you need to dress up. And I am not talking about household chores. I'm not talking about gender based roles and responsibilities because that's another roadblock where we teach kids that, okay, you're a girl, so you need to go and cook sabji and roti. It's everyone's task. If someone is not married, staying alone in some area where parents are not living with them, they cook their own meal. So we will not confuse two activities together. When you're talking about gender roles, we will not talk about the kind of work male does or female does. We will talk about how they dress. What are their preferences? So if a boy is saying no to playing with dolls and teddies, it's fine. He's saying that, Mama, why are you pushing me, or Papa, why are you pushing me to play with them? I have no interest in them. Just go and buy me a cricket set or maybe a ball. So we will not say, okay, गुड़ियों से खेलना तो लड़कियों का काम है. No. We will say, okay, this is not your choice. Let's find where you have interest in. So we can go and buy a toy of your choice and can see आपको क्या अच्छा है. So this is how we communicate with children. They are too young, they're too naive, so we don't give them gender roles based on our own understanding. So this is another important point that we talk with parents and families and children when we impart personal development. Now, let's take an example. Let's do an activity. Okay, I'll say few words. So maybe you can type that what do you understand out of these words? Okay, so first word is roti. Anyone can type in chat, what do you mean by roti? What do we do with roti? What is roti? We eat roti. Yes, people. Okay. Khana. Yes, another word for that. Food. Yes. Now, mammam. What do you mean by mammam? If someone is saying mammam, what is the meaning of that word? Pani. Okay. Shivalika said pani. Okay. Any more inputs? Other people, pani. Okay. All right. Okay. We eat for kids. Okay. Someone said we eat. Another said for kids. Okay. Water. All right. Okay. So this is an example that I'm giving you to make you understand that roti is a term which is universally used. Love and care. Dinesh said love and care. But mammam is a word which can have any number of meanings. Like my child says mammam for food, not for water. But I've seen other kids saying, Mama, I want to have mum mum. And the reference is water. Mum mum, give me a hug. And some people use mum mum for ma, mama, mother. So if a child is saying mum mum, it's very difficult for anyone, be it in school, at home, friend circle, peers, to understand what the child is asking for. But if a toddler who's homebound, infant who's homebound, and indicating to mama by saying mum mum, a mother can understand the child's language. Same is with personal and sexual development. If you teach wrong words to the areas which belong to that child or maybe to a person, the child will learn that and will start using that word. And it will be difficult for you to teach right word to that child. Yes. So depending, as Suman said, depending upon age, we need to start using right words. And if we are feeling uncomfortable to do so, please seek professional help. There are so many ways to do it. For children who cannot communicate, even for them also we have flashcards where we teach them about right words and the process to follow. So, what is the right age? That parents as caregiver can decide. But if you have any questions, seek professional help. They will tell you. The method to teach them, they can tell you. Now, one topic that I want to cover is child abuse. Child abuse has many reasons why it happens. It can be lack of awareness, lack of respect for all the genders available in the world, lack
Mm.
of understanding on body development, the need that we face, the ways to actually fulfill these needs. It all comes under personal development. But sometimes we do some activity in some rage, that you have some sort of aggression or feeling towards someone and you cannot communicate that. So, another topic that we covered under personal development is effective communication. How to take out your anger, how to take out your frustration, so that you don't take out that frustration on somebody else. And somewhere we need to understand it is not always true that the person on who we are taking that abuse out, that feeling out, may be the reason for that abuse. So we see n number of cases where child abuse is happening. The person who's the abuser will never be able to understand that the child didn't do anything wrong with that person. But the person who abused that child, maybe that person couldn't understand what is my body need. And he wanted to take out that thing. So he took that child as the primary target. So the more we cover and talk about these topics, today we have just covered the basic part. But once we'll start discussing these topics, I think it can contribute to a better and safe society if we take the curriculum seriously and start talking in terms of both the genders and acceptance and respect toward each other, and how to work on your own body understanding and development part. We can actually make the things better for everyone. Okay, Deepak's response came that he learned about it when he was in class 9 from my friends. So I saw a video, and it's not my thing, so I'm not going to give more details because that was the original task done by someone else. But it was very interesting and entertaining and informative as well. They took Now they prepared a video where they asked some boys that how you do eve teasing and do you actually do it. So they said that they take ideas from movies where like they see hero making some sort of comments or girls making some comments on boys. So we learned from there and we thought, okay, maza aayega, chalo try karte hain masti mein. But actually it backfired to them. So they thought that, okay, we were not supposed to do that. So they learned from a bad experience. But if you have the education, you know that the content which is there on the media is not always helpful. It can be for fun purpose. You cannot use them in your own life. And then, as a responsible citizen, there are few things that you cannot do as men or women. So there are no gender roles here again. It's not always true that boys does such things. Girls can also do it, but the education is effective on all the gender type. So we have researches and other data available that if you part in information, to everyone at a beginning or maybe at early age and then work as a spiral curriculum, it will definitely impact the way we perceive our world or the environment it's surrounding, and how respectfully we behave, how responsibly we behave in the environment and with others. So any questions for me? Anyone? You want to ask something? You want to share your experience? Anything?
Yeah. If anybody would like to comment or anybody would like to ask any question regarding the session or any topic, they can ask. Okay, there is a comment, I think so.
So learning is that need to educate when getting chance that media is not right always. True.
And I think, ma'am, school and educational institutions also need to work on this particularly, because not everything and anything can be taught by parents. But
Yes.
schools and education institutions are the place where the child is more than the home. I think so, because in home, I think when schools were running from 9 to, or maybe from 8 to 2 or 3, they are in the school, and then after they go to tuitions, and they spend most of the time with their friends.
Yes.
So spending time with parents is very less. It's actually very less, and parents also cannot like teach everything and anything to students, but they also do not know how to teach. The basic thing is that, but teachers are well trained into this particular topics, and they should talk about this, and they should talk in a way, in a manner that age is also considered, and the standard in which the particular child is studying, that is also considered. Like don't give false information, but give a relevant information according to the relevant age. That is the must which should happen, I think so. That was my
Correct.
views.
Not just for me, Dinesh, or anyone else, but for the participants as well. As a person, we can contribute in various ways. If I'm a neighbor, I can be little alert that there is a small child in the house next door to me and mother is not around. If I'm standing out, maybe I see something happening to the child, I can help. At the same time, if parents, they don't get to spend more time with kids and they have their own commitments, they don't know
Yeah,
how to improve
actually.
this education, they can give inputs to school. Okay, like, do you have such sort of curriculum? If my child is experiencing this, then whom the child will approach? Will teacher cover this, or do you have a counselor in the system who can talk about it? And if you don't have a counselor, can together as parent community, we can put a request to principal that okay, please keep a counselor. So at
Hmm.
least you have a good session for kids. It can
Yeah.
be related to development, it can be related to personal development, it can be stress related during exam, it can be anything. And at the same time, counselors, teachers, and other members in the school system can also understand how we can take some time out to do such activities. It can be a part of curriculum itself, or during assembly time, we can do some activities with kids where we talk about good touch, bad touch. We can pick up weekly topics, monthly topics, and we can start over with such kind of education. So let's not limit our resources, skills, and opportunities, or maybe time to a certain areas of education or maybe skills which is helping. But at the
Hmm.
same time, security is important, understanding your own body is important, abuse and bullies. This actually mark a huge impact on a child's memory.
Hmm.
And his or her life is under the shadow of that incident, that whatever happens with a child or maybe a teenager or anyone. So these are
Exactly.
important. So accordingly, we can plan as parent, as family members, as relatives, and we can start talking, at least start communicating. We'll definitely find ways. There are so many professionals, help is there, psychologists are there. You can take help from them if you have any questions.
Hmm. And to just add on one single thing, I think one last thing from my side is that every parent and every as a parent, as a neighbor, as a school teacher, or as a mental health professional, or as any responsible adult, one should know to listen to another person. That is the main thing, because in our society I have seen people who want to speak a lot, but there is no one to listen to them actually. Last week I met with a particular family where the children told me that they haven't talked to their father from last 2 weeks, as the father is there in the home, then also they have not talked without anything, like they do not have any fight or something else like that. The parent is not getting time to get in touch with the child. That is the main thing.
Right.
So one should make sure that they talk to their child, they talk to their students, they talk to their, just listen whatever they are speaking, because just listening cures 50% of all the problems. If we listen, 50% of the problems are already solved, and 50% we will solve after listening. We can solve by communicating, we can solve by our experience, we can just comment any, we can do anything after we reach to the 50% of the process bar.
That's
So that is the main thing. So listening is a must, we should apply in our society.
true. Very true. And by that, we identify triggers. We can see signs of abuse, signs of any kind of bully, sign of any kind of trauma, stress that people are experiencing. So active
Yeah.
listening is always important for them, for us, for everyone. It is
I was genuinely shocked when I heard about that. The parent is coming and going to, like, they are coming to home from their office. They are spending time in home also, but they do not have time to talk to their children. This is happening in all, like, major metropolitan cities. As of now, this situation is going on when after lockdown the parents are getting pressurized to make, generate a particular income. If they are in particular sales or something else, they are representative of any company, so they are not getting time. They are working at the office hours, and they are making their home hours into office hours also. So while they are home, they are working for office, and when they are in office, they are working for office again. So when they will work for home, that is the main thing. Not from home, it is for home. They have to work for home.
And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is how we work as psychologists
Yeah,
when we work on personal development. So, like if somebody is coming to me and I see that 17-year-old girl is there and some kind of personal development issues happening, sexual development related issues happening. So we will identify a few things. If there are like participants are from psychology background, if they're parents, so they can actually they can keep it as it is. You need to first see what you need to do for the child and then changes you need to make in their family environment, kind of services you need to provide to their parents or family, and changes in school structure. If everything is fine, college structure, if the child is preparing for competitive exam, maybe planning to go to college, so you need to first understand what issue that client is facing. Now, the environment. Second point is environment. How to make changes in the environment or make the environment more supporting for the client. And the last one is do the follow up. Follow up plan is very important where you can actually cross check whatever strategies, whatever plan you have devised for them is working properly or not. And then maybe if you're taking monthly follow up, you can tell the client to get back to you after a while, not monthly. So fade slowly, don't fade gradually. That you've taken one session and then you're done with personal development. No, the client may use the kind of plan you've devised for that client, may have few questions, will have no one to ask to. So he might get back to you, she might get back to you that, ma'am, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. And for plans and for the kind of techniques we use, so that we know as psychologists what we do, but the structure is this. So parents can get in touch with clinicians, practitioners, that what structure we need to follow with the child. So you can teach personal development to everyone. So for 5 years, when I was working with special kids, I was teaching personal development to them. So even they could understand. So we had the methods and the techniques available with us. We could part education to them. So there is no word like that you cannot teach personal development. You can, you just need the right and the plan, which is effective for everyone, for parents as well, for children, and for the other people involved with the client or the family. So from my side, for today, it's done. Basic of personal development. If you have more queries, please get in touch with PsyCoolG team and they'll educate you. And thank you so much for participation. I can see that we got few more inputs from someone. And thank you so much, Dinesh, PsyCoolG team. And I've done few sessions with them in the past, and I got such a good interactive audience then and now. So I appreciate the entire system that you have
Thank you,
given.
ma'am. Thank you for being there for this webinar. Currently, we have completed this was our 90th webinar in the series, and soon we will head to 100. And this is just an initiative to spread mental health awareness. Actually, this is nothing related to any paid content or anything like that. These sessions are totally informative sessions. Experts like you and many experts have joined this particular uh, series of sessions, and they have made it possible, and you have made it possible for us to complete this kind of achievement. This is a kind of achievement for us. When we thought of beginning, we were totally confused, but today we have reached till 90, and we are now damn sure that this is really improving the society somehow, and we are somehow impacting the society by our webinar series. And a lot of feedbacks and a lot of comments are always there. And yes, in our comment section also there are a lot of feedbacks that this session was interesting. Okay, wonderful explanation. There are many comments in the session also, like the from the audience, that they like the session very much. I think so. Thank you, ma'am, for being there with our webinar number 90. And this was an initiative by PsyCoolG Connect, a PsyCoolG Wellness Private Limited, an ISO certified and registered organization. We have also got this MSME certification last month, and we have like many different courses also for mental health awareness. And we also organize events, basically to schools and colleges, different schools and different colleges, where we spread awareness. That is also totally for free. We do not charge anything for that. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being there with us, and we will definitely connect back again. And thank you for being there, ma'am. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it. This was really an interesting session. I hope that you like the audience and you like this platform as well.
Yes, I even learned a lot today with the active participation and your valuable input. So thank you. Just keep on
Thank,
doing good.